The Do My Bidding Award.
Which one to give it to? I don't know. I really like both of them, so I suppose I'll have to share it. Bit of a cop-out, but they're both great characters. There is the fourth character that I've not unlocked yet, so you never know. He may be absolutely awesome and could take the prize straight away, but for now, they can share it. In order to unlock Drizzt, the secret character, you have to complete the game on one of the three original difficulty settings, easy, normal, or hard, with one of the three starting characters. Once you've done that, it unlocks the gauntlet, and this is your first taste of the secret character, and you pretty much just go from room to room, annihilating all these enemies, and you have to get out within a time limit. It is an absolute bitch to complete, but once you have done it, you then can save the data file for Drizzt. It also gives you access to the extreme difficulty setting, and in order to do this, you have to import one of your previous save game files from another character. If you are transferring over a character that was in one of the original three difficulty settings, you lose all of your items, armor, weapons, and all that. All you get to keep are your levels, stats, and where you put your points. The extreme difficulty was a bit of a bitch. I didn't struggle as much as I thought I was going to. I originally did it with the archer, and I didn't do too badly with it, died a few times, and I think I got through it in about 8.5 hours-ish or something like that. And it was really, really good. The thing is, before I gave Eldrith the biggest disappointment toward because of how easy she was, and in extreme difficulty, she was actually a bit more of a challenge. The only thing is that she has three sort of stages. Once you've gotten her health down a third, she sort of grows in size, gets stronger, and then once you get her health down another third, she grows again and then gets a bit more stronger until she dies. Thing is, the first stage is the only bit that was actually difficult. Once I'd gotten that bit out of the way, the other two stages were easy. I don't think I actually got hit at all during those last two stages. So she still keeps the award, but she was a little bit more difficult. Once you've completed that, you can then play as Drizzt through the normal game by importing the character file. And he's a very cool character, and he's got two swords, which is really good. His attack speed is pretty quick, and he sounds like Ewan McGregor, and he is just really cool. The thing is, he is a melee sort of person, much like the dwarf was, and much like with the dwarf, the attack output isn't really good enough to compensate for the lack of spells and things. He has got a couple of spells, but they're more assist spells that you probably would only use once every now and again in certain situations, and his attack power isn't good enough to compensate for the lack of good spells. I ended up getting a little bit fed up with him just because his damage output wasn't good enough to be able to really do things well. I died quite a few times on the same thing just because he couldn't do the damage quick enough to get past the enemies, and I got a little bit fed up and I ended up doing the game with the Elven Sorceress, and I think I slightly overpowered her when I just put all of the spells into the Lightning Ball of Doom. Even on the extreme difficulty, she just blitzed through it. It was a bit too easy, and there was the odd moment where it got a little bit difficult. I did die a few times, but it took me the 8.5 hours odd to do it with the archer. With the elf, I did it in 5 hours something, so it was a bit easier. With Drizzt, I ended up going back to him to give him another try, and I gave him all of the really good defense equipment, things to up his armor class, and though with that it did make it better, he still had the problem with the low damage output. You can get items which, for the other characters, increase the damage output. You can get rings and amulets of strength. The best one you can get is a plus 15, but when I had one of my other characters, they had a ring of strength plus 14, and it made their attack output go up 7 points. I think it was, at the time, from like 63 to something. I equipped it in up to 70 to whatever, and that was the minimum damage. But for Drizzt, he doesn't get the attack output bonus that the other characters do. For him, all it does is increase the carrying capacity, which it does for others as well, but at least with them you also get the increase in attack bonus. So I ended up just putting everything into defense, and it was better, but he was really let down by his poor damage output. At the start of the game, it's pretty good, but as you get further on, particularly in the second chapter, it's just not enough. And you could look at it as more of a sort of like an extra difficulty setting, but it's just a bit over the top to the point where it takes all the fun out of it. His coolness is the only thing that really is going for him. He's got a cool voice and he does say a few good things throughout the game, but really he doesn't get the best character award. That stays with the other two. So unfortunately he was a bit disappointing, but he was alright. I did end up doing the game on multiplayer with a friend, and at the start of it he was Drizzt and I was the sorceress, and it was good. We went through it, but as the sorceress I was just destroying everything by going dead. So I ended up switching for the archer, and after a little while he ended up thinking that Drizzt wasn't that good either, so it wasn't just me that was disappointed with him, and he ended up becoming the sorceress and I stuck with the archer, and we just blitzed through everything. We had such a laugh doing it. It was brilliant fun. Other really big disappointing thing about Drizzt is that he's got the two swords, which is cool, but they are the only swords that he will use. There is no sort of upgrading system for his swords or anything. He will not use any other weapons, so that takes out any sort of the RPG thing that I liked about it, being to find better weapons to upgrade yourself. He doesn't have any of that. You can do it with the armors and things, but really the weapons are the main thing in it, so that was a big disappointment as well. So yeah, disappointing character, so I probably won't really bother with him much anymore. The other two are far better, and I'll probably just stick with those. Final Destination 5 though, I seriously hope this is going to be the last one in this series. It should have been left at number 2, maybe number 3, just to finish it off as a trilogy with one tacked onto the end. We've had enough of these now, we do not need another one. Shortly after my Final Destination overview went up, I got a text from a friend saying that they are actually planning a Final Destination 6. I did a little bit of research and then got another message from a friend saying that he made it up just to annoy me. I carried on with the research only to find out that actually he was right. That's not the worst part. If number 5 does really well at the box office, then they're going to be doing a number 6, but they're also going to do a number... That's right, they're going to be doing a number 6 and back to back. What the hell? We do not need any more of these films. It is done, it is over, they cannot do anything more with the series to carry it on. They couldn't even carry it on with number 5, so they made it into a prequel. Spoiler. So it's just, they might as well just leave it alone and let it die in peace. It should have died a long time ago, and now it'd be an even better time to let it just go. It's going to become the next series of Saw films, really. At least with Saw, they did have the main underlying story throughout all the films, and they were all connected, whereas with Final Destination, they're just tacking random ones onto the end. Plus, with Saw, they did actually plan on doing the 8 films from the start, but with the decline in ticket sales, they decided that they would put the story from number 8 into number 7 and have that as the final film. So really, respect to them. They've realised that things were going downhill, so they finished it. Brilliant. They should have done that with Final Destination rather than just making extra one as tack onto tack onto tack. 6 is just going to be the most ridiculous thing that I've seen in ages, and I've seen some ridiculous stuff over the years, but really, they just can't carry it on. It's just going to be another group of random people getting in a random accident and dying in random ways. It's supposed to be a load of people running around going, I can't see without my glasses! Bus! Actually, no Final Destination, it'll be, I can't see without my glasses! Then a warning light will come onto the dashboard of a bus. The bus will then go tearing into a lamppost. The lamppost will fall over and hit a car. The car will somehow manage to explode, sending a traffic cone flying through the air at the poor person, who, bearing in mind they can't see, will then go, ooh, there's my glasses! So the traffic cone will just go flying over their heads and just land somewhere in the background. The person will put their glasses on, they'll slip on some dog shit they didn't see and fall off a cliff. Then it'll probably actually then go, scratch off number 4 to find out what the dog shit smelt like, and I die a little inside. It is just going to be ridiculous, over the top, and unnecessary. Really, if maybe if they offered me a part in the film, I might be able to get a little bit on board. But I couldn't really get on board with number 5, let alone in number 6, and then afterwards. It is just going to drive the series completely into the ground, where it really should have stayed a long time ago. First 2 films, fine, no problem. After that, it was just random stuff after random stuff, and it was really unnecessary. And we do not need any more of these films. Do not go and see Final Destination 5 at the cinema. If we don't, then it won't get any more money, and that will mean that the pot for the next films won't exist. If it probably got its money back already, so just that's fine. Wait until it's come out on DVD, Blu-ray, or even on the TV and watch it then. Don't give them any more money to give them more reason to then go and do the next set of films. We don't need them, they are going to be ridiculous, and it should have been left alone ages ago. See you next time.